Helen Kate Shapiro is an English pop jazz singer and actress. She is best known for her 1960s UK chart toppers, You Don't Know, and Walkin Back to Happiness. Early life: Shapiro was born at Bethnal Green Hospital in the East End district of Bethnal Green, London. Her early childhood was spent in a Clapton council house in the London borough of Hackney, where she attended Northwell Primary School and Clapton Park Comprehensive School until Christmas 1961. She is the granddaughter of Russian Jewish immigrants. Her parents, who were pieceworkers in the garment industry, attended Lea Bridge Road Synagogue. The family moved from Clapton to the Victoria Park area of Hackney, on the Parkside estate, when she was 9. It was, and remains, a beautiful place, she said in a 2006 interview. Although too poor to own a record player, Shapiro's parents encouraged music in their home. Shapiro played banjoleel as a child and sang with her brother Ron occasionally in his youth club jazz group. She had a deep timbre to her voice, unusual in a girl not yet in her teens. School friends gave her the nickname Foghorn. Aged 10, Shapiro was a singer with Susie and the Hula Hoops, a school band which included Mark Bolan as guitarist. At 13 she started singing lessons at the Maurice Berman School of Modern Pop Singing, based in London's Baker Street, after the school produced singing star Alma Cogan. I had always wanted to be a singer. I had no desire to slavishly follow Alma's style, but chose the school merely because of Alma's success, she said in a 1962 interview. Berman's connections eventually led her to a young Columbia Records A&R man named John Schroeder, who recorded a demo of Shapiro singing Birth of the Blues. Career: in 1961, aged 14, she had a UK number 3 hit with her first single, Don't Treat Me Like a Child, and 2 number 1 hits in the UK, You Don't Know, and Walkin Back to Happiness. The latter did not top the UK chart until October 19, 1961, by which time Shapiro had reached 15, on September 26. She had a number 2 in 1962 with Tell Me What He Said, achieving her first 4 single releases in the top 3 of the UK singles chart. Most of her recording sessions were at Emmy's studios at Abbey Road in northwest London. Her mature voice made her an overnight sensation, as well as the youngest female chart topper in the UK. Shapiro's final UK top 10 hit single was with the ballad Little Miss Lonely, which peaked at number 8 for 2 weeks in 1962. Shapiro's recording manager at the time was Norrie Paramor. Before she was 16 years old, Shapiro had been voted Britain's top female singer. The Beatles' first national tour of Britain, in the late winter-early spring of 1963, was as one of her supporting acts. During the course of the tour, the Beatles had their first hit single and John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote the song Misery for her, but Shapiro did not record the composition. In 1995, during a This Is Your Life highlighting her life and career, Shapiro revealed, "It was actually turned down on my behalf before I ever heard it, actually. I never got to hear it or give an opinion. It's a shame, really." Shapiro lip-synced her then-current single, Look Who It Is, on the British television programme Ready Steady Go, with 3 of the Beatles. In 1962, Shapiro played the lead female role in Richard Lester's movie, It's Trad, Dad, which co-starred another early 60s hitmaker, Craig Douglas. On December 31, 1969, Shapiro appeared on the BBC ZDF co-production Pop Go the 60s, singing Walkin Back to Happiness. By the time she was in her late teens, her career as a pop singer was on the wane. With the new wave of beat music and newer female singers such as Dusty Springfield, Cilla Black, Sandy Shaw and Lulu, Shapiro appeared old-fashioned and emblematic of the Beehive, pre-Beatles, 50s era. As her pop career declined, Shapiro turned to cabaret appearances, touring the workingmen's clubs of the northeast of England. Her final cabaret show took place at Peterlee Senate Club on May 6, 1972, where she announced she was giving up touring as she was travel-weary, and had had enough of living out of a suitcase. Later, after a change of mind, she branched out as a performer in stage musicals, jazz, and more recently gospel music. She played the role of Nancy in Lionel Bart's musical, Oliver. in London's West End and appeared in a British television soap opera, Albion Market, where she played one of the main characters until it was taken off air in August 1986. Between 1984 and 2001, she toured extensively with legendary British jazz trumpeter Humphrey Lyttelton and his band, while still performing her own jazz and pop concerts. Her one-woman show Simply Shapiro ran from 1999 to the end of 2002, when she finally bade farewell to show business in order to concentrate on her gospel outreach evenings. Her autobiography, published in 1993, was entitled Walkin Back to Happiness. She appeared as a guest on BBC Radio 4's The Reunion in August 2012. In March 2013 she appeared on BBC Radio 3's Good Morning Sunday and recounted her life growing up as a Jew in the 1950s in London, her musical career and her belief in Jesus as Messiah since 1987. In 1989 Shapiro performed the first of many gospel evenings at which she sings a selection of worship songs followed by her telling of her faith in Yeshua, Jesus. In November 2013 she made her first appearance as part of the Messianic gospel group Hebron alongside Simon Ullman and Chrissy Rogers. The event was held at Hamworthy Social Club in Wimborne, Dorset. Personal life: Helen Shapiro has been married since August 31, 1988 to John Judd, an actor with numerous roles in British television and cinema, and lives in Kent. Discography: Don't Treat Me Like a Child / When I'm With You 1961, You Don't Know / Marvelous Lie 1961, Walkin Back to Happiness / Kiss and Run 1961, Tell Me What He Said / I Apologize 1962, Let's Talk About Love / Sometime Yesterday 1962, Little Miss Lonely / I Don't Care 1962, Keep Away From Other Girls / Cry My Heart Out 1962, Queen for Tonight / Daddy Couldn't Get Me One of Those 1963, Woe Is Me / I Walked Right. In 1963, Not Responsible / No Trespassing 1963, Look Who It Is / I Walked Right in 1963, Fever / Olay Further Time 1964, Look Over Your Shoulder / You Won't Come Home 1964, Shop Around / He Knows How to Love Me 1964, I Wish I'd Never Loved You / I Was Only Kidding 1964, Tomorrow Is Another Day / It's So Funny I Could Cry 1965, Here in Your Arms / Only Once 1965, Something Wonderful / Just a Line 1965, Forget About the Bad Things / Wait a Little Longer 1966, In My Calendar / Empty House 1966, Make Me Belong to You / The Way of the World 1967, She Needs Company / Stop and You Will Become Aware 1967, You'll Get Me Loving You / Silly Boy 1968, Today Has Been Cancelled / Face the Music 1969, You've Guessed / Take Me for a While 1969, Take Down a Note Miss Smith / Couldn't You See 1970, Waiting on the Shores of Nowhere / A Glass of Wine 1970, The Prophet / Now or Never 1972, recorded under the pseudonym Ella Stone and Moss, You're a Love Child / That's the Reason I Love You 1975, If You Feel He Cares / It Only Hurts When I Love 1976, recorded under the pseudonym Swing Thing, Can't Break the Habit / For All the Wrong Reasons 1977, Every Little Bit Hurts / Touchin' Wood 1978, You Don't Know / Walkin' Back to Happiness 1983, Let Yourself Go / Funny 1983, Let Yourself Go / Cry Me a River / Funny 1983 10-inch, Brickyard Blues / Just Another Weekend 1984, Walking Back to Happiness / Let's Talk About Love 1989. Chart singles UK. Albums Tops with Maine, 1962 UK, Helen 16 1963, Helen in Nashville 1963, Helen Hits Out 1964, 12 Hits and a Miss Helen Shapiro 1965. All the above albums were released in and apart from Helen in Nashville, and 12 Hits and a Miss Helen Shapiro. These are her main albums from the peak of her popularity in the early 1960s from Abbey Road Studios. Studio albums Straighten Up and Fly Right 1983, Echoes of the Duke 1985, The Quality of Mercer 1987, I Can't Get Started 1990, The Pearl 1990, Kaddish 1992, Nothing But the Best 1995, Enter Into His Gates 1997, Sing Swing Together 1998, By Request 1998, Simply Shapiro 2000, The Gospel Collection 2002, What Wondrous Love Is This 2010. Retrospective albums The Very Best of Helen Shapiro 1974, The Very Best of Helen Shapiro 2007. See also, List of artists who reached number 1 on the UK singles chart, List of British Jewish entertainers, List of people from Hackney, List of artists who reached number 1 on the Australian singles chart, List of Columbia Graphophone Company artists. References. External links, 45 RPM webpage, Helen Shapiro at the Internet Movie Database, Helen Shapiro official site, performing Look Who It Is on Ready Steady Go with the Beatles from Slate.com, WSJ.com, Helen Shapiro, Once Bigger Than the Beatles.